If you're talking sports, it's the matchup. Mickey here with Zizzy. Are we cutting it up? Just a couple athletic enthusiasts. You know what it is. The Mickey Zizzy podcast. We're back, baby. Season 3, episode 16, aka number 16 in your programs. Number 1 in your hearts. Go. If you don't know what movie that's from, I'm sorry. You got to talk to your parents. You got to get with your elders. It's one of my favorites of all time. The Replacements. Shout out, Jesus. But yeah, we're back. This is the Mickey Zizzy podcast. Season motto is bigger and better, and we are brought to you by Pinnacle Supplementation. Make sure you reach your pinnacle. Check out pinnaclesup.com for all of your supplementation and wellness needs. They got a bunch of new products dropping all the time. Make sure you check them out. And also, our sponsor and supporter of the podcast, OBL Extraordinaire, Pickup Core, Globetrotter, Secret Sauce Shooter. I've got more names coming, I promise. But it's Grant Anderson, and it's his YouTube channel, G for 3. It provides a bunch of great insight on just his everyday life, honestly, but also just what it takes to be a true basketball player, true baller, pickup core, whatever it is, anything. Competitive leagues, he's doing it all right now. So it's really, really cool to watch his journey. Go ahead, shout him out. A lot's been going on. It's been crazy. We've been away for a little bit, but we're back. And before we get into all that, of course, I am Zizzy, and I wouldn't be me without the man next to me, Mickey. What is going on, Maya?
Hey, vibes are good. I mean, you cannot complain when almost every day of the week ends in football. It is kind of nice when you got Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and soon Maxim's about to come up for Tuesdays. Football is everywhere, whether it be the NFL pick'ems, which shout out Zach Novick. He's our leader right now. We're kind of playing follow the leader here behind Zach Novick with some of the other yours truly's in behind there. You also have fantasy football for the Mickey Zizzy podcast. Like I said, football is every single day. Waiver wire days are up right now. It's all going crazy. We got to give a shout out to the reigning champ, Chandler Sims. Yank. Mr. Zizzy, his team is very good right now, and he might go back to back. I was talking to him today.
Hey, don't say that. Don't say that. We got something to say about that. We got something to say about that.
A direct quote from him was saying, "I got a feeling I'm going to go back to back." So I mean, that's a live quote from Chandler himself. But like I said, it's all good because football's here. It's one of the greatest sports ever created. Mr. Zizzy, let's dive into it. Person of the week. Let's roll.
Person of the week. Who you got?
So, breaking the rules, per usual. Okay. I just want to give a shout out. The reason why we were not around as much, Mr. Zizzy, was with the Hurricane Ian in Florida. And I know that directly hit your family, hit people that was close to you, and a lot, and just Florida in general. And seeing a lot of those pictures and a lot of those images, videos, is absolutely bonkers. And I can't even put into words just like how much I felt just from what you experienced and what your family experienced. Like I felt it too, all the way here in Iowa. And I just want to give a huge shout out. The people of the week is to all the first responders that went and helped. All the people who are doing hurricane relief. You, Mr. Zizzy, be a part of that crew right now for going and helping out these businesses, helping cleaning out basements that are flooded, helping clean up the streets. I mean, you saw boats, you saw sharks on land. Yank, it's indescribable. And I know I'm trying to put words to it, but as you can see, I'm still losing words based on how big it was. I mean, I even had a hit on the podcast where we're here to promote all those people that have put a great deal of effort into the recovery from Hurricane Ian.
Yeah. I mean, it's who I'm talking. It's who I was going to be talking about too. So I mean, you just being down there, obviously seeing the impact of what happens. It's the biggest storm that has ever hit that area in its history. So yeah, I mean, it's how prepared can you be? So it was unfortunate that it was my hometown. It's a lot of things that I had grown up and seen that are no longer there. And it's just, I mean, there is a lot of destruction, there's a lot of damage, a lot of people without homes. There was people who lost lives. I mean, it wasn't pretty. It was really unfortunate, but Yeah, I mean, to be able to see everybody, that was just the effort, like everyone that coming together, just help the like help your neighbor type of attitude, type of, it was just, it was really cool to see a whole community come together over something that was so disastrous, but obviously it was still a really tragic event and it affected a lot of people and it's still affecting a lot of people. So, I was trying to do my part. Obviously, it was good to be able to help my families and roommates and stuff like that as well, to be able to make sure their families were okay down there as well. But yeah, it was pretty wild, and to be able to see all the responders and all the jobs that they do and all the crazy stuff they were dealing with, blows my mind. But I was feeling the love from even all the people up in Iowa. Like we saw electrical trucks and everything from Iowa, so I was like, okay, shout out the boys, I see you helping. But yeah, no, it was all that, but obviously appreciative of all the people that are out there making it possible for people to resume normal lives.
Yeah, and the one thing you just said right there, it's awesome to see all these people come together for a good cause. And sadly, it was at the, you know, the I figure out the word, but like the for other people's lives, for other people's homes, like that's the reason why everyone's coming together. But it does show that there is good humanity out there. People do come together and willing to all come together. Like that shows how powerful people can be and what we can do as a community, as everyone coming all together as one. You're so right with that aspect. But like I said, my heart goes out to all y'all down there and hoping for the most recovery. I know still months and months of work to really get back to quote unquote normal down there from the hurricane.
Yeah, big one, but it's Florida. We are Floridians. There was people out there in front of it like an hour before it hit. We crazy, so let's get it. All right, Vicky.
Now, so going on, Yank, person of the week, like we said, if you can do anything to help out, you sure go do it. We already talked about a little fantasy football and the Beat the Podcast NFL Pick'ems. This past week, I'll give a quick shout out to Aaron Nickel. He and Mason Davis, they were this week's champion with 13-3. And Yank, there's a new record.
13-3. Oh my! Oh,
there's a new record
tough.
being broke for the worst record for a week. So the worst week record was previously held by Aaron Nickel, and that was 3-13. This now new record, Greeny no Greeny. I flipped a card and it was 2-13. New record, 2022. Mark it down. But you know what else is funny? Ironic. Last thing about the podcast pick'ems. Zach Greenwald and Greeny no Greeny are tied. Have the same exact record. I am not kidding you. They have the same exact record. Absolutely bonkers. You can't write this. You can't make this stuff up. But there's your quick recap about the NFL pick'ems.
I hope that Greedy watches this. He can only ask himself that question. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong?
He did miss a whole week, so he had to take a big.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's different.
So that's why, but so crazy. Yeah, Yank. But otherwise, we're gonna dive right into the NFL season. Like we said, we've been gone for about 3 weeks, and instead of recapping every single week, we're just gonna recap some teams and some major events that have went on. And Yank, we're going right down to you. I mean, we're talking off Florida today, but the Miami Dolphins and Tua more like specifically. First off, your Dolphins were hot. They were red hot. They were rolling. They were looking one of the best teams in the NFL. And then the huge concussion, head injury controversy came up. And give me your initial reaction of the Dolphins, how they're doing, and then the whole Tua situation.
Well, considering 2 weeks ago, I was sprinting around my neighborhood, just screaming that the Dolphins had just beat the Bills and all excited because Tua somehow came back in the second half when we all thought that it was probably a concussion and had some other things going on, maybe. I was ecstatic and I was on cloud nine. I didn't care, but very somber right now, very humbled. It's more so I still believe we have a great team, but we have no idea how long the timetable is for Tua to be back. We now have a backup quarterback that is dealing with a concussion. We are on our third string, and I do not think we have a fourth string on the roster. So you start worrying about some things, as a fan of the team. But I really, it all comes down to player safety, and obviously the NFL is now putting in this new concussion protocol. Um, as someone that has played the game of football, I personally have always thought that this is a part of the game that we sign up for. We kind of know that this is a potential health hazard or potential side effect of playing football. With that being said, we should take every precautionary step that we can to protect ourselves, protect our families, our future families, anybody that really cares about us. That's obviously important. There's a fine line that has to get walked, and it's very difficult to navigate. I think that the NFL is trying to do the right thing by protecting the players and by bringing in spotters and things of that nature. But after seeing it go into effect, at least for one game, and affecting the nature of necessarily like Teddy Bridgewater, for instance, because I was watching that Dolphins game, I'm just not sure. Like it's like if you pass all the testing, then what do we have testing? I mean, it just is basically now it's just if you have any sign of anything, you just shut somebody down. Like you pass all the tests, then I mean I don't know. It seems like a double standard, and I'm not sure how I feel about it moving forward.
Oh boy. All right. All right. I actually have a lot to say about this, Mr. Yankovic, and you're so right. So I'm gonna recap your Dolphins. Like 2 weeks ago, right? Well, first off, the images we saw of Tua's hands were kind of cringy. I mean, it was just crazy to look at.
Oh, yeah.
It surfaced the social media. It was on everyone's page, right? And then Teddy went out the next week with another concussion, and now it's the tale of 2 weeks is how I'm taking it. All right, Yank. Besides the good team alone, right? Good defense, the receivers are all stars, right? They still gonna make plays, but obviously the making the headlines is this concussion protocol. And 2 weeks ago, Tua came off wobbling, right? Clearly something was wrong after the big hit. He got evaluated. He was cleared by the doctor. He took all the tests. He was fine. All right. This was debatable if he was fine or not, but like he said, he was fine. He passed all the tests. Next week, he gets swung down hard. Now his hands go like we said. And now the scapegoat is the doctor. You shouldn't have let him play because of this and that. Well, he passed all the tests. I did my job. He wanted to play. I did not force him to go play. Right? There's no doctor that says you have to go out there right now. If anything, the doctor's going to save their job, Yank. They're trying to save their job. Say, hey, are you sure? Tua wanted to play. He wanted to come back and beat the Buffalo Bills, like you just said, and continue an undefeated streak. Yank, you and I have both been in that same situation where we kind of got dinged up and we're like, whoa, probably have a concussion, but I passed all my tests flying colors and I want to play. Right? I know you've been there.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's just that's what I mean, though. There is that fine line you have to walk or think about because, yes, we've all done that, and I'm with you in that moment, and especially if you're Tua, like you're trying to keep that unbeaten streak, you're going for first place in the division. You know that your team needs you. You're the captain. You're one of the captains of the team. Like I understand everything from the emotional aspect of it. Of course, you want in the game. And if you pass the test, if you're going through all the neurological stuff, the neuro doctor on the team doctor says you're clear. Why would you not go back in the game? Like I understand that. I definitely understand that, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily right either. You know, like
Oh, they're not right. You pass all the
we took
tests. I
those
understand we
concussions
can fake
doesn't
it.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's the shady part about it is like people do fake it. Athletes do fake it. I've done like, coach, I am A-okay when probably I wasn't fine. But like you said, this is what we sign up for. We want to play the game. Now, they have lied and said, oh, I don't have a headache. My head doesn't hurt. I do have good memory. I remember all X, Y, Z. And once again, now here comes the scapegoat. The scapegoat's the team doctor shouldn't have let him play. All right, he clearly was not capable after his hands. He had a very big head injury. Boom, gets fired. And you know what? I may get some backlash for the shank, but I don't think it was necessarily like the doctor's fault because the doctor is in a catch-22, Yank. If he doesn't let him play, fans go crazy. Oh my goodness, they should have let Tua played. The report said that he passed all his concussion protocol. Why didn't he play? On the flip side, oh my goodness, how could you let him play? Now he's hurt for longer. He could have had a way more severe injury. Doctors catch-22. Either way, you're not going to be looking good in the media. Obviously, the doctor lost their job. based off of the decision that they made, right? And at the end of the day, how hard is it going to be telling this $1 million athlete, sorry, you can't play? I know it's my job to tell you not to, but like, I know you really want to and go make more money, this and that. It's really hard, especially going against, trying to defy a big time mega superstar, right? Yank, when you go up to people, and I understand, like, they're people too, but like, you try to go tell Tua, you tell Tom Brady, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, you got to sit out, even though you're feeling fine, right? Not gonna happen. They're gonna have a word to say about it. Now, the wobble rule, Yank, and then I'll get off my
No, run that tangent. I like
no,
it.
I'm loving it. The wobble rule. That's kind of what I'm calling it. So, like you said, the new rule is, at least how I'm kind of considering it. I was listening to a few other people talk about it. They have an unbiased party watching the players as they get up and having that they watch film about how they stumble, right? Or they're on the sidelines evaluating as well, so they're not biased to be that decision saying, "Man, we really need you to play though today." Right? We're going to give you a cortisone shot or whatever it is, if it's another injury, right? This doctor can be the final say, which I'm okay with, right? And say, "Nope, you're done." But think about this. Yank, you've gotten up before after a big hit, after making a big tackle. Maybe you got trucked or brought him down, right? And you're like, whew, all right, he brought the blood. All right, here I go. You shake it off, right? I've definitely done the same. I got hit by you. Boom, met in the hole. Get up. All right. Okay, let's go. Kind of like take a misstep, right? If a doctor reads that misstep and you're actually okay, boom, they take you out of the game. It changes the entire game. You can't tell me when Tua came out or when Teddy Bridgewater came out. I guess I should use the Teddy one. That when Teddy came out, the game changed. Having the third string quarterback
Yeah.
come in to play a majority of the game, it changes the entire game. And if this is a big playoff game, Yank, I cannot. I'm gonna freak out if this actually happens. You take out the star receiver, you take out the star quarterback based on a stumble. So this little hazy gray line, I'm not really going to be a fan of, but I understand dictating concussion can be so hard and challenging because we want the safety of the players. And I hope it does not take these players out of these situations just because they feel suspicious. But at the end of the day, I do feel it is a correct step to have that spotter on the field to help out with concussions.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's the safety measures are understandable. But I'm with you and I'm with the original point. I think that's a fine line that you're trying to navigate, and it's going to lead to mistakes and issues that lead to different results and outcomes. I mean, even that ruling, the whole concussion protocol, the whole Tua Tagovailoa, I mean, like we're seeing it affect other penalties and other things that are happening in games right now. Like it's literally it's not just one thing. So it, it's going to be interesting, but I understand safety is number one priority.
Yep.
Obviously, you got to protect the players from themselves. I mean, because it's the same thing that we're sitting here. People could sit here and listen and be like I got dinged up or definitely had a concussion, shake it off. But like, yeah, you pass your you go in. Yeah, played that,
You
did that.
play till you can't walk no more.
I could tell you probably double digit times. I've had 5 diagnosed concussions, and I think it's way more than that.
Oh,
But
no.
it's just like those are like none of that is a good thing. Nothing like it shouldn't be a norm. It's
We
just
do
the
not
mindset.
promote concussions on this podcast.
Yeah, I know, but it's a mind. I'm not, but I'm saying it's a mind state that athletes tend to have, and it's a danger to themselves, and so this is put in place to protect them. But yes, I'm worried about it affecting the outcome of games.
Yeah, without a doubt, and hopefully it doesn't do that. Anything else about your Dolphins? I mean, moving forward,
everyone's probably sitting here like you're on a Mickey Zizzy, like we're on the Mickey Zizzy podcast. I know that you're weird from time to time, Zizzy, but like, why are you wearing a tattered lifeguard hat? Because the Dolphins are on life support right now.
What?
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean? We are a third string quarterback. I love the team. I do, and I've been boasting our defense more than anybody. But we have not looked good on the defensive side of the ball. We've got people that are absolutely running through us. Brees Hall, don't get me wrong, is very talented, but for him to show up with the Jets and absolutely treat us like Swiss cheese, you can't. It's just not a good thing. I mean, I love fantasy, but to get hit with the double whammy of the Jets beating the Dolphins and then Brees Hall just hauling on me just in the middle of a fantasy game, like, come on, guys, it's just not cool. So I'm a little bit worried because the fact that we just went from first place in the division to third place in the division because somehow the Jets are all of a sudden mingling around and competitive. Um, but yeah, it's just a wait and see thing. I think that we have the talent to still win game. Our schedule honestly isn't the most difficult coming up, so I'm pretty confident we'll stay afloat. But until we get Tua back, we're just not going to be the same team.
Gotcha. Well, Yank, it's only fair that if we talk about Miami that long, you know what?
Let's hear it, big dog.
Players.
Let's hear it.
Yank, it's tough. Don't get me wrong. We don't pass much, but we're making moves in the right direction. Some crazy things, some bogus no calls that when the ball crosses the plane that it doesn't count as touchdowns, against Green Bay or whatever. I know it didn't cost us the game.
It was weeks ago.
I know it didn't cost us the game because our passing was not good, but it changes the momentum of the game. Next, we lose a close one, or we win a close one against a tough Texans team. The Jets, the Texans, the Jags, they're back. They're frisky. No team in the NFL, except for maybe the Panthers, are really like the bottom of the barrel. You know what I'm saying? Like a team where, it's an automatic dub. Some of these teams are very good, Yank. All right? Texans, they're scrappy. They're gritty. Okay? And then we lost to the Giants, which we straight up lost. I really can't have it. We just didn't play well. But, Yank, the G-Men just beat the Packers. Okay? Yeah. They're almost top of their division. The NFC Beast. Watch out. They were the least a year ago, and now they're the Beast. So, crazy there. Which is, I'll take that L. And then, lastly, Minnesota, Yank. It's 2-minute drill. You got to run out of bounds. I don't know why we're trying to fight for 2 extra yards when we already got the first down in a 2-minute drill and we fumble it from Ish Marset. I was so upset. A hat was thrown in the Hines household. It's day one install, Yank. You do that. So just get out of bounds. And clock management, you learn that in high school, Yank. So I don't know what was going on there. Don't be the hero. Rule 17 is what I had written down. Now, lastly, I'm not going to dwell so much on the negatives, which I guess I just did for a little bit there.
You're just stating facts,
stating facts, yeah. Starting out 2-3, not where I thought we would be, but you know what? Optimism is all the way back. In prime time, Thursday night football, only on Amazon Prime, in the bright orange jerseys. I got the Justin Fields jersey.
Oh, they're wearing the oranges.
Speaking it into existence. They are going to look lit, like how they're going to light up the scoreboard against the Commanders. This is Justin Fields' coming out game. All right, let him roll out, let him play action, let him sling the rock, let him run around and make plays. This team, and this is the game where Chicago gets their swagger back. Swag will be back on Thursday to be a 500 ball club and to be in the hunt and to show that they are a frisky, gritty NFL football team. The run still has to be dominant, Yank, and the secondary is going to have a challenge. They also get a coming out party. They're going to go make Carson Wentz force some turnovers, all right? And the defense is going to earn their respect and earn their stripes here on Thursday and shut down the Commanders. Let's move forward to a 3-3. I'm speaking into its existence.
All right. You know what? Like I'm not gonna lie. I think you might have just turned sides for me right now. Like, I don't know. Like, that whole speech was I'm fired up, baby. Let's get it.
Put it out of the pick
Chicago, baby. Bear down. I honestly, going into this Thursday night game, I felt like it's like the Commanders' time, but Carson Wentz just keeps upsetting people over and over and over again. I do like the Bears defense. I do. I really do. It's the O-line, and I've been saying it. They gotta protect the kid. They gotta protect the kid.
I feel like they do.
And Darnell Mooney, stud, athlete.
We just gotta get on the ball.
Athlete. You gotta get on the ball a little bit more. Justin Fields, you get him on the run, he's a whole different player. I just still don't think they're doing it enough. But it's, I mean, again, you can't if you can't block, everybody on the offense is going to struggle. So until that gets fixed, I'm still worried about them. The clock management issue that you're bringing up, I mean, you do have a brand new head coach. I know it's still 5 weeks in. I know you're saying that's like high school ball. I mean, that as an athlete, as a performer player, do you know that? You should. But nonetheless, like there's things that you can credit it to. I do not think that the Bears are a bad team at all, and I do appreciate your enthusiasm and your hype and your hope. But a part of me wants to start believing you because this division would then be like a three-way race, right? I mean, you'd be a half a game behind at that point going into the weekend.
Behind Minnesota.
Yeah, it's because what Packers are 3-2, and so are the Vikings. So yeah. I mean, I would love to be like, oh, that NFC North. That's another one. That's another beast division. Let's go.
Yeah, my hope is back. I know I can talk myself into a Chicago W any day of the week. So yeah, we're gonna be moving forward. But another team I want to talk about is the only undefeated team left. Yank, we're gonna make that transition to fly, Eagles, fly. I've been telling you, Jalen Hurts is elite. He's the real deal. He's been better than Tua. He's an elite quarterback. I told you he's my jersey bet, Yank. If the Eagles, I texted Riley Bell, put him on the pod, right? I said if
Put
they
him on
win
the
Super Bowl,
pod.
that's my jersey bet. I'll be rocking a Jalen Hurts jersey. All right. All funness aside, they're getting some scrappy W's, Inc. 2017 against Cardinals, the Jaguars to beat them by 8, which the Jags are a good team. They go crush Washington. Now, this is the high-powered offense we've been seeing. A.J. Brown, the dude. Devontae Smith, the dude, if you're checking it on fantasy, right? And the defense doing what is needed right now. They are playing consistent ball and letting the offense stay on the field for a longer time. And the only undefeated team, I think they definitely deserve it. I think they still beat Dallas this week. There's one of my pick'ems for the week. But Yang, talk some Eagles to me.
Very impressive. I do believe that was your Super Bowl prediction when we were
Bills,
talking
Eagles,
about it.
Bills, yeah.
Bills, Eagles.
Bills win.
I mean, it's looking good. It's just they're just one of the most complete teams, if not the most complete team. Their defense gets after it. That defensive front seven,
I told you.
they stop the run. They can blitz well. They run a great package. That they can fly around out there. So that's impressive to see because they probably are a top 5 defense in my opinion right now. And then you turn around the offensive side of the ball, and yes, the steps that Jalen Hurts have taken. I mean, he's in the MVP conversation. People are talking about him in astronomical levels and numbers, and the statistics back it up. If anybody has him if anybody has him for a betting on right now from where the season started, from where the season started, it's gotta be loving it right now. So, I have they got AJ Brown, they got Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders is recent
Wow.
has been has reemerged as a top threat back, and I think they kind of got that towards the end of the year last season. They were learning that if they can run the ball and then also use their play action, get Jalen rolling around and have him on the scramble drill with better receivers, it's a perfect formula for success. And we're seeing that in full time. I mean, they've dominated most of the games they were in. This past weekend was the closest game that they had. And now we're going to see them play against probably the next toughest defense aside from themselves in the Dallas Cowboys. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. It's big time for the division. Like we said, we got 3 teams that are 5-0 or 4-1 or better. So that's another thing. The Cowboys in themselves are a storyline. So it's going to be
Cooper
wild.
Rush, undefeated.
Yeah, right. Cooper Rush, 5-0 at all time as a starter. I mean, we can talk about that all we want, but yeah, the Eagles fly, man. They're real.
No, I love watching them. Love hyping them up. They're a good team, good ball club, and just watching Jalen Hurts come in the offense, just how he holds himself on the field, how he acts on the field. You can tell
He has a certain charisma about him.
charisma,
Yeah.
perfect word for it. And I feed off of it, and I'm not even an Eagles fan, right? Like that's what I'm trying to get Justin Fields to do. Come on, Fields, slide down. Like when they did the slide, like that just put so much happiness into me, right? Got me amped up. But Jalen Hurts just has that swagger, that like nice smug looks after he scores, and I think that alone goes such a long way, and it shows that the Eagles are the real deal.
Yeah. Speaking of Justin Fields, I was surprised. I remember seeing that week one, and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, chemistry's there. They love this guy. They just won. Bring him back, Justin.
Oh yeah, we have a guest appearance with Nala. Anyone who's watching the YouTube, we got Nala on the movie chair back there.
Hey, what's
And
going
Rascal,
on?
I think they're about to get in a fight, so this might turn into a UFC match. But
Hey,
Yank, last team I do want to talk about is that team that you brought up, that being the Dallas Cowboys. Cooper Rush comes in doing the backup quarterback duties, and he's crushing it. But like you said, that defense, Micah Parsons. I know Trayvon Diggs getting beat a little bit more than last year. We were talking about him a defensive player of the year last year, but the Cowboys are just so fundamentally sound. Like they're making it work right now, Yank. McCarthy should not be on the hot seat. I hate when he is on the hot seat. Like, oh, he didn't win 12 games this year, but he won 10 and made the playoffs. That's a good coach, all right? I hate that sticker of, oh, you didn't make the playoffs or you didn't meet expectations of winning a Super Bowl. See ya. It's bogus. It's dumb. Talk a little Cowboys to me.
just again, just another one of those teams that are just very impressive. I mean, anytime that you lose your star quarterback, I mean, and he's a star quarterback. Dak Prescott is an absolute star in the NFL. Has been a top 10, top 5 quarterback in some seasons. For him to go out, get hurt week one, for them to lose, and then rebound as a team and take their backup quarterback and win 4 straight games, it's insanely impressive. And it's not like it was against weak opponents necessarily. I mean, they've had a tough schedule, and they will continue to have a tough schedule moving forward. But if you're telling me that Dak Prescott can come back from this injury within a couple weeks is what I'm expecting, and then start adding a dynamic to this offense again to where they do have a 300-yard passer, plus they keep this run game going as strong as they. I mean, look out. They're doing this right now with Cooper Rush throwing for 100 yards.
Cooper Rush is beating the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, which that defense held them to under 20 points, which I always say if you hold our offense under 20 points, you have a good likelihood of winning the ball game. They wouldn't beat the Giants. Giants are good. Commanders, all right, whatever. But then they go beat the Super Bowl champs and hold them to 10 points, Yank.
There's not one team that has scored 20 points. There's not a team that has scored 20 points against them yet. That's what I'm saying.
There's not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can win a lot of games. What's happening on the offensive side of the ball? You have this defense, which is the number one defense in the NFL right now. If you don't believe so, I don't know what to tell you. But Micah Parsons is the second coming of LT. At least he looks like it will be statistically. The man is coming out with, I don't know if he's sick, I don't know if he's hurt. He's out there on one leg and just powers through people, gets a sack like it's nothing, gets strip sacks. I mean, he's incredible. You got Diggs outside, which, yes, he's hot and cold, but when he is hot, he's getting you a turnover. Yeah, exactly. So you have other things. Van Der Esch is great alongside Michael Parsons. You got the D Lawrence. You got the guys up front. What is there to say? On paper, this is a fantastic team. If you're telling me that they can continue this, but only add to their passing yards and production in the pass game with Dak Prescott,
they add a starting quarterback. Yeah,
there's no reason that they can't make a deep playoff run. But
you said that last year,
like Stephen A. when I say that stuff.
But
they are the Dallas Cowboys.
They are the.
Like, it's stuff like that. But yeah, something tells me is something can go wrong with this team. But at least for right now, how it looks, they passed the eye test, man.
They passed the eye test, and if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan and you're listening, you're pretty happy right now. But you also have to go through the Giants one more time. You have to go through the Eagles twice. So they're going to be a team that's not going to host a playoff game, in my opinion. But they're going to be that team to upset someone, right? Some other, we're thinking like the Bucks might not be anything too crazy. The South, the West, I mean, that's with the Rams again, which they already beat them. So I mean, they can go play spoiler night for one of those one seeds or in forward. But Mr. Yankovic, we're gonna move on from the NFL to college. We love to bring in and sprinkle in a little bit of college. We got some teams to talk about college football because college is great. All right,
Absolutely.
Mr. Zizzy, let's do it.
Hit me with it, baby.
Now, when we talk college football, you know I always got to bring up my dearly beloved Iowa Hawkeyes. Yank, things need to change. The Iowa offense, you know me, I'm one of those positive people you know, is horrible. Defense is incredible. Yank, the defense has, I think, 4 games out of their 5 held the team to 10 points and under. And they're a 3-3 ball club. Yank, we talked about the Dallas Cowboys defense being good, holding teams under 20. The team's holding teams under 10. Now, we did let up the Hawks did 27-14 against Michigan. They're ranked number 5, though. Michigan's going to go win the Big Ten. They're going to try to edge their name into a college football playoff. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is with that. And the Iowa defense is just so good. And, you know, we lost 6-9 to Illinois College. Or not Illinois College, not the Blue Boys, but Illinois. The Fighting Illinois. So we beat San Diego State.
Hey, that last second backyard BS the attempt though, that was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we beat 27-0 against Nevada, which it was the whole rain delay thing. And we lose to Iowa State 10-7. We barely no, I think where was it at? Rutgers. We also played Rutgers. Had a pretty good win there. But Yank, it's just kind of sad. And Spencer Petras still hasn't showed everything, but you know, you can't blame everything on Petras because the offensive line is historically bad. Iowa Hawkeyes are known for their tight ends and for their offensive linemen. And right now, their offensive line cannot have a dominant run game, so they have to rely on the pass. Didn't we just talk about that if your O-line can't block earlier in the podcast, you're not going to be a successful offense? Well, that's what it is. And then when we do have time, though, like finally, offensive line gets a good rep here. Petras overthrows it or underthrows it. Like, oh my goodness, it's an never-ending merry-go-round of problems that the Iowa Hawkeyes have. So, I mean, I'm still going to continue to support them. Now we're just going to play the Cinderella story. If you're Kirk Ferentz, you need to get bowl eligible or else you will really be on the hot seat. And we're not saying Kirk Ferentz is on the hot seat, but his son should be Brian Ferentz, the offensive coordinator. If they don't make a bowl game, he is definitely – something's got to change if that doesn't happen. Now, Yank, they make a bowl game, they're going to be A-okay. But you must be happy as a defensive guy seeing the Iowa Hawkeyes play defense.
I mean, I can say there's at least one bright spot to your guys' season is the fact that you have a good defense. I mean, you guys had only allowed, I mean, other than Michigan.
Yep.
Have you allowed anybody to score over 10 points? I don't think you have.
10 or under.
Yeah, 10 or under. So I mean, even Michigan was a 13-point game. Number 4 team in the country, a team that is competing to possibly be in the big dance at the end of the season. And it was a 13-point game simply just because your offense could only score 14 points. I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm with you. It's got to be quarterback play, but something's got to change. I don't understand. This is the Iowa Hawkeyes were a number 2 team in the country at one point
last year, right?
Yeah, last year. So it's just it's so wild to me that this is how their season has gone. So I'm with you. It's kind of despicable is the word that I would want to use.
Yeah,
I can't say that the coach is going to be on a hot seat or that his job is in jeopardy. Just simply based on the success that Iowa has had underneath him. But you know more than me there, bub.
No, it's gonna be sad. They have a bye week, but then they come back they gotta head down to Ohio State, which I mean, there's no pressure on them, which is the good thing. They're playing the number 2, I think Ohio State is right now. Mm-hmm. Number 2, so they're gonna go play Upset City and shock the nation there. But another team I want to talk about, Yank, as we transition. We won't stay on the Hawks too long because it's pretty plain as day for them. is that USC team I've been hyping up, Yank. 6-0. They're my non-traditional college football team to make the college football playoffs, right? They haven't made it before, at least to my knowledge, right? With the new
They have
format,
not.
right? And they're number one, the number 7 team. I love Caleb Williams. He has the 19th most passing yards with 1,500. Not too bad. 17th most touchdowns, 14. All right. And he has 1 interception, QBR of 83 and 3 rushing touchdowns. Like that stat line, Heisman potential candidate is what the experts are saying. So like he's leading the squad, and yeah, you've had some close calls, Yank. If you're supposedly this great USC team, both 17 of 14 games against Oregon State and Washington State. Not great. That's why they're probably number 7, right, Yank? But look at the rest of their schedule. The rest of their schedule screams undefeated, and it screams college football playoff. This week they play number 20 Utah. That's gonna be a dogfight. Utah is still trying to make a name for themselves. They have a lot to prove. So if they beat them, all right, that's a ranked opponent. Then later on the season, they play UCLA, which Yank, UCLA football's back. They're ranked number 11.
It's a
What?
whole different ball game when the California schools are back, like USC,
Right?
UCLA. It's a whole different thing for college football when those two schools are doing well.
No, and so like they're back, and then they play Notre Dame, which Notre Dame is not good. They're not ranked, but like that's still a tough opponent. They're gonna want to try to steal one. That's the last game of the year. So if they beat
Yeah,
like
I
those
mean
three
those big
teams,
name schools, man, you just never know with them. They can show up randomly on Saturday.
like I think they, I'll talk about LSU later, but like Tennessee beat LSU. I'll talk about that team later, but like that's still a big name school. They're still a good. They're still a good team. But back to USC. If they go to undefeated, I think it's that without a doubt in my mind they should make it. And hot take, even if they lose one game but still become their conference champ, they're going to be in the college football playoff easy. You know what I'm saying? I think so. With one win and they become the conference champs, like say, or one loss. Sorry, one loss. So say they lose this week and then go win the conference, easily in the college football playoff.
I mean, it does not. Are they gonna? I mean, they're already ranked 6th, so I mean, a one-loss ranked team. There's usually at least 2 of them that make it into the college football playoff every year. I wouldn't. I mean, I could give you that. I could give you that because what's helping them is that even the teams that they're playing that aren't ranked are good. Are
Yes.
good team. Like Washington State, who they just played this past week, is a solid football team. I mean, people were coming into this game thinking that they were on a potential upset alert, which they potentially were. I mean, they still only won by 16, but still they handled business. The offense has yet to score. I still don't know if they've scored under 30, but if they do, I mean, they have just been great on both sides of the ball. We're not necessarily used to seeing USC, particularly in recent years, being able to play defense on top of it to back up the offense. We're seeing that a lot more this year. Gotta love USC so far.
Yeah, I'm liking it. It's kind of like one of those teams where if they're on, like, sweet, I'm gonna go watch some USC because if the Hawks aren't doing well or if they lost for the day, I kind of get sad. I want to go cheer on an undefeated team. Now,
Everyone loves a winner, man.
they really do. They really do. We could talk to some other teams like Kansas, how they're finally lost, but they're making noise. Like the entire state of Kansas was going bonkers because they're like, we need to be ranked. But the team I want to slide to next is good old Rocky Top, the Tennessee Vols, Volunteers. Now, this is another team I love watching on Saturdays with Hendon Hooker, QB1, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, 0 picks, 3 tutties on the ground. That's efficient, Yank. He's a leader on the field, and he's just efficient. And my thing with them is they have such a hard schedule, Yank. And if they somehow power through this with only one loss, they're a college football playoff. I'm talking teams that traditionally don't make a Yank that have a chance. That's why we're here on the podcast. And if you're here for it, we're bringing you that content. But a Yank, you're the head coach of this team, right? You have number 3 Alabama next week or 2 weeks from there. I forget the exact date. Number 1 Georgia. Oh, let's throw you number 22 Kentucky, who I guess is a good football team this year. How are you handling all of that, and what do you think is actually going to happen for Tennessee?
Not even just that. They do it in 3 of the next 4 weeks. They
Play
do it
Bama
in
this
3 of the next 4 weeks. Then they follow it up with Missouri and South Carolina and Vanderbilt. These aren't necessarily teams that are just like you don't just walk through them. So I hear you. The schedule is brutal. It's just collateral damage, especially just like based on just pure recovery and like even if they go out, let's say they win the Alabama game, that's the first one. The emotions that come from a win like that, it's so hard. It's so hard to handle the peaks and valleys of that. And so you put all that on the team. It's unfamiliar territory. It's been a long time since Tennessee's been good. Like I said, another one of those teams that's great for college football when they're doing well again.
Right.
But Hooker, man, that kid can play some football. He is heavily impressive. We're just sitting there talking about how LSU is actually one of those teams that even though they have 2 losses on their record, they're a good team. They can challenge some people, and they will challenge people in the SEC. I agree, but they just went out and put a 40 burger on them
They
and
did.
held them to 13. It was a 27-point win. Handily won that game. We were sitting out having some pictures with the boys after a flag football W. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. But we were watching that game, and it looked like Tennessee was taking that next step into being a force to be reckoned with this season. So definitely love what I'm seeing from them. I mean, Hooker's touchdown to interception ratio is bonkers. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's proven himself.
And I mean, that's going to be the matchup of the weekend, Yank, is Alabama versus Tennessee. Like, this is what the people want. A number 8 seed versus a number 3 seed.
That's got to be where game day's at.
I got to double check. I mean, we'll stat check it here for the Mickey Zizzy fans if it's see where game day's at. But, like, this is the game of the week. Gotta be. And, you know, and my thing is, Yank, if they can somehow beat Georgia or Bama and then also beat Kentucky, they might have a good case for the college football playoff, right? You telling me Alabama loses this one and then they lose to Georgia, like in the SEC championship? Like, do we put them in, or does Tennessee? You know, it's gonna get a little bit bonkers down there, but it really comes down to this week. Like, this is a bowl game in itself. It's kind of like who's gonna be that team that's gonna challenge Georgia in the championship. It
Well,
really
100%.
is.
Because I agree because also it's a placement. It's a testing. It's a test game for them. So like we can see truly is Tennessee that great? Like what are their capabilities? If they go out and play Alabama and they play them tough and it's a 1 possession game, goes down to the wire, everyone's gonna be sitting there saying like even if they lose, they wouldn't lose more than 1 or 2 spots probably in the rankings. That's just in my opinion.
Either team. I mean, Tennessee wins, they move up to 4. You have to put them at 4 or 3, right, to replace Bama. Bama drops down to like 6 at most. Yeah. You know, all right, we lost to a top 10 team. We'll bounce back. And if Tennessee loses, we lost.
And if anybody's the king of taking 1-win teams back to the CFP, it will be Nick Saban. So
classic. No, those are definitely the bigger teams I wanted to talk about here on the Mickey Zizzy podcast. Once again, we were presented by Pinnacle Supplementation. Y'all have been blasting that protein powder. It's absolutely great. Plant-based protein. I have just now started up their pre-workout. Y'all are getting all the supplements. Go check out their merch as well. I heard big things are coming. Little wink there to all the fans. Bigger merch coming hopefully soon. But Yank, any other college teams that you want to debrief, talk about?
no, I'm pretty upset with my Knowles. I am pretty upset with them. I was saying it going into the weekend. NC State is a team that scares me. Obviously, we just came off of the heartbreaker with Wake Forest losing by 10. I mean, we played tough. It was sloppy, but played tough. You lose in a ranked opponent in a ranked game is what it is. Wasn't expecting anything too crazy from us this year. But then to follow it up against NC State, which I know has had our number for the past 4 seasons, but still to go up 17-3 at halftime and then lose 19-17 or 2019, like we don't score again. the rest of the game. Like it's just that's a total collapse on our end, and to lose that way is just heartbreaking and frustrating. And again, I'm on life support just across all football sports right now. I need help.
Sweet, I need a lifeguard. No, Yank, and yeah, the Knowles haven't been doing too well, having some heartbreakers there. And we were talking high praise about them early on in the year. You were how Florida was being a very good football state at the time. And
It's Hurricane Ian's fault, man. I
it
swear.
really is. I mean, it really is. One of the greatest things is when Haley, she was texting me, she's like, I'm Hurricane Ian, all the Florida teams in the NFL are gonna win for Hurricane Ian. And like digested it all, gave me all the logistics. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Now they all
That's what I thought too. And then Tua.
yeah. And then Tua happened.
Like literally like 3 days later, I was like, why? Why?
And then the Jaguars lost that weekend. Tampa Bay got blown out by Kansas City, like their first game back since Hurricane Ian. Like, so Florida is, I mean, the only way you can go is up, Yank.
It's doomsday.
It's doomsday.
Yeah. No, definitely only going up from here. But that's all I really got for college football final takes. Do you have anything hot takes, anything you want to get into? We got one last topic. I'm not sure.
All right. No, I think we're good on all our
topics. Right. Hit me with some hot takes if you got them.
College football. I already told you my hot takes. I'm bleeding the orange on Thursday. I'm gonna be wearing the Chicago Bear polo to work. I'm gonna be talking it up the storm. I mean, this is almost like a Super Bowl prime time. Like I'm gonna be living it up on Thursday about my Chicago Bears. Treating it like a Super Bowl, like a bowl game in itself. And then also, you know what? Tennessee upsets Bama. Put it in the paper. Let's go.
Okay.
Rocky time.
I like it. I will say when they came out with the smoky uniforms last weekend, I was already like, okay, they got this one. Like it. So they come out in some bright orange, bright orange unis. Just the bright orange. The Bears when they come out Thursday. No, but I got a different hot take for you because I'm sick. It's honestly depressing for me, even just seeing it on your story. But we're getting a Collinsworth. We're getting a Collinsworth signed in this weekend. We are getting it on Sunday. It is happening.
Oh, the calls were sliding.
Yes, we are getting a Collinsworth.
It happened. It did happen 2 weeks ago.
I know. Right? I exactly. So I was all hyped for it. I was ready for it to come back, and then disappointment. So I'm that's my hot take. We're locking it in. The slide in is back. Week 6.
And this guy, right?
Dude, that was clean. It was smooth. That was smooth. Okay. I'm all for it. Got it. Good. If you're talking sports, just to match up. Mickey versus Zizzy, we're cutting it up. Just a couple athletic enthusiasts. You know what it is. The Mickey Zizzy podcast. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.